Hi everyone, good morning and good afternoon, depending on where in the world you're joining us from today, and thank you for joining us. Today marks the last day which I will be hosting these webinars. So thank you to everyone who's joined us today, and for those of you who have joined us on any other sessions. I really appreciate having your time and you taking the time out to join us on these. So I just have a few admin points to tick off before we begin. So the session will be recorded and will be available on our website after the webinar. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll go through them in a Q&A session at the end. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm a Client Success Manager here at Bamboom Cloud. And for anyone who's new here, our aim here at Bamboom Cloud is to help organizations to take the very best of the Microsoft Cloud to help them to transform and grow. Today's session, as like the rest of the sessions which we've held in this webinar, will be based around D365 Business Central. Part of my role is to help you to understand what you already have access to within Business Central, along with how we can add extra components to it to benefit your organisation through third-party extensions. We often refer to these as ISV solutions. Today won't be a deep dive tech session, and we aim to keep it in a language which enables you to understand what it can do for you rather than necessarily the tech-heavy parts. Today's session will showcase, educate you on, and help you understand how payroll can be implemented and integrated within your Business Central experience. And I'm delighted to have Eddie here with me today to explain more. So Eddie, if you're happy to take the reins.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Can you hear me okay? Great stuff, cool. So my name's Eddie Harford. I've got some slides to go through just to talk you through the product, what it is, the positioning of it, and then we'll go into a live product demo. So that's always likely to go wrong, but we'll try our best. Cool, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah,
we're
on.
Fantastic. Apologies, everybody. It's like technical issue with Teams. Cool. So it's an introduction into Sirius Payroll 365. So my name's Eddie Harford. I'm the CEO of the Sirius app, but also the CEO and the founder of the Dogma Group, which is the company who is providing this software. This is a simple quote from we had from one of our clients. Payroll is a simple thing, often complicated by software, and your system makes it simple again. And that's essentially what we've tried to do. Is we try to take a process which is an everyday occurrence for every organisation or most organisations, where they have to run it either on a weekly or monthly basis, and taking the pressure and stresses out of the process to make it a nice streamlined process, which can either be a simple 5-step process or can even be fully automated if required. This is another statement from one of our clients. It's actually posted on Microsoft App Source. So I ran the payroll myself this week and it went brilliant. Really impressed with the program and how easy it was for me. And even the HMRC submission happened just like magic. And these guys do around about 450 employees on a weekly basis in terms of payroll. And again, they process the payroll within probably about 10 minutes every week. That'll give you an idea. In terms of the setup, these guys, it took them about 2 or 3 days to start to finish on the software. And then obviously they now have an automated process on a weekly basis. So really just want to talk about a bit of introduction to the apps. I'm not going to waffle too much about other things that we do. Really want to focus on payroll, really want to focus on the benefits of how an integrated solution within Business Central can really help you guys. And also talk about the simplicity of setup and also the simplicity of use as well. And then we'll go into a live demo to show you the product in anger. And hopefully that we won't have any more issues from technical side. So we are an apps company. So Sirius App does provide a whole series of solutions. We've got different things from CRM, ERP, BC, different various apps. But again, I'm going to focus today on payroll, because I'm a little bit late. So essentially the payroll challenge is we looked at. So obviously you're probably all familiar with Sage Payroll is one of the market leaders in this area. It's not great integration into BC, unfortunately, and also there's complications with Sage in terms of if you're 1 to 250 users have product A, if you're 250 plus users, a different product. There's quite limited choice in terms of the marketplace, and having that integration there is always a risk for organisations. So hopefully, as BC users, having the system fully integrated without that integration, without the complications, and having been approved by both HMRC and also Microsoft via the App Source, it's going to give everybody a lot of comfort. So again, we did some market research. There's often lots of confusing pricing around payroll. I think the different types of users, different banding, different solutions, different edit. There's a lot of complexity around deployments and setup of it. There's a lot of integration issues, there's training issues, and obviously the flexibility of the system to support both small, medium, and large organizations is generally the sort of key challenges that we identified. So what we did, we built the solution from the core focus of trying to meet the market challenges of organizations such as yourselves, and try and focus on simplicity of setup, simplicity of using, making it flexible, and having a really simple, cost-effective pricing model, which everyone can understand, hopefully. So this is where we are. So we're today. So it's fully HMRC certified. It's £1 per employee per month that's actively involved in payroll. So that means if somebody's not going to receive pay for 1 month, they don't get charged. If somebody gets on the payroll 4 times in 1 month, then it's still only £1. And the system is easy to use. So we've built the system to make it as simple as possible. Some of our clients even set it up themselves, so without any partner support as well. We do provide a training platform, which is a free of charge platform for both for customers and users, whereby you have training on how to do setup, but also training on how to use the application. And those training videos come in the form of documentation, videos, interactive videos where you can click through, and also some quizzes where you can sort of test your knowledge in terms of how to run the product to build that confidence up in the solution. We're fully aligned to the Business Central roadmap, so we built it specifically alongside Microsoft to make sure that the product is future-proof as well. So we haven't tried to create custom entities like our employee section. We're using all the standard out-of-the-box areas of Business Central, and also we've got a long-term roadmap. We've been doing releases on probably about every 6 to 8 weeks basis, adding new features and adding new functionality. And just to give you everybody a caution of confidence, the price is not changing. So even though we've rolled out in the last sort of 18 months, probably about 12 new versions, adding a whole load of new features and functions, it's still £1 per employee per month, and that's not going to change. So as a product, it's actually been around for about 5 years now, coming up to 6 years now. And essentially it was predominantly a Navision product. If those of you remember Navision, which is the precursor to Business Central, we then rebuilt it into the Business Central, built it based upon the Microsoft vision and roadmap. We then turned it into an app product, and we also got a Power Platform version as well, just being launched as well, which is integrated into Dynamics 365 HR as an option. Roadmap, as you can see, we've got a whole load of new functionality and capabilities on a sort of every sort of 6 to 8 weeks basis. P11Ds is all being ratified based upon the latest rules of this year, and it's also ready for the rules of next year. And there's also going to be some more exciting features around AI capabilities, recommendations, wage analysis, prediction analysis, what if scenario planning as well, which is coming towards the next 3 or 4 months as well. So that's a very brief overview of who we are and what the product is. And I think the most important thing is to actually go in and see the product in anger. So can you see my browser now? Fantastic. So as a user, it's fully downloadable from the Microsoft App Store. So you can download a trial version by just going into the search and then typing in Sirius Payroll, and then you can install it and it sets you up a 30-day trial. So you can install it in your sandbox environment or install in this production. That's up to you what you want. It also comes with a pre-configured role automatically, which is the payroll processor, which enables you to then secure and provide access to the payroll information away from the other BC users. So this is a BC dashboard, so you get information such as the number of days for payroll, number of employees, the tax information, national insurance contributions, pension, and student loan. The nice thing about these tiles are these are actually in sync with HMRC's website. So when you go to HMRC website, you can actually see the information, and you can see it then these details will then keep up to date and give you that real-time access. So you've got all that nice ability. Again, I talked about the setup of the system using how it uses the out-of-the-box configuration. So if I go to my employees area, you can see this is the standard employees within BC. So as you may have developed some areas within Business Central already around the employee. Again, you don't need to worry about reconfiguring it or integrating or anything. It uses all that out-of-the-box functionality. What we've just done is expanded upon it. So if I go into an employee record, we can now see the calculations, as you can see, which are live fields. We can see the payroll information, and we can also see the payment information as well, and the P11D information. If we go through the various areas, if I go to my sync, if you want to see all the information for this particular employee, which is going to be synchronized into HMRC, we've created a HMRC view, and it pulls all the key information regarding what data gets passed through the FPS record, and we can also make any changes. So for instance, if this person needs to be applied for the off payroll working directive, I can simply choose the flag, and then it updates it in order to send that information to the payroll. So again, you have all the key information you'd expect, and you also have the ability to manage all that data in a simple form. For new starters, you also have the ability to manage all the various information. So if I go to my report, we've got the starter checklist. So this is a fully integrated verified form, as you can see. So when I do my print preview, this is where things normally go wrong. Hey, we're lucky today, which is good. You can see it's not just a standard form, it's a HMRC fully verified approved form, which can be saved, uploaded into the HMRC website. In terms of the core functionality, I'm not going to go for every single one today, but you can see car benefits, student loan, P11D, employment, HMRC updates. So what this is, it gives you the ability to synchronize updates with HMRC. So these are things like your tax code. So if your PAY tax code changes, it will automatically update the system. If your student loan arrangements and those sort of things updated through the government website, it automatically pulls that data down automatically for you and configures it. You also have the ability to have employee sites or multiple roles. So sometimes an organization will have a series of pay elements associated to an employee, but actually depending on where they're working or what role it is, they may have different base salary or different pay elements, different overtime rates for different locations as well. So that's all fully configurable and standard out of the box. So applies for sort of services companies, construction companies, those sort of things as well. So strategy updates, employee information, again, it's all this information. Plus you have a whole load of reports. So the exceptions and errors, this gives you the ability to manage things like the pension enrollment, the onboarding enrollment for new staff. And if you set up the employees, such as their hourly rates are incorrect as per their age, based upon as they're getting older, obviously it changes. It gives you an exceptions report and tells you to make sure you keep certified and valid within HMRC guidelines. And obviously P45, P60, and so on and so on. So you also have the ability to set up, again, we're using standard functionality, payroll in dimensions as well. So for an employee level, so you can group it by department, and you can also manage the pay ledger entries and the payroll ledger entries and the statistics. I can just go to statistics to show you what that is. So it's basically giving you a full breakdown of this particular employee on a timely basis, and then you can then see exactly all the pay elements and the calculations, the tax and student loans for that particular period. So I'm going to go out the employee card and just show you the setup of the system. So in terms of the setup, it's a nice simple setup. So if I go to my payroll setup, I have the ability to configure it at a very high level. So things like if I wanted to add a payslip remark, a comment on it, I can do that as well. So it does build payslips. If I want to display, if there is a function called timesheet management, where if you've got users entering timesheets, so it allows you to pull the timesheets in, it then automatically calculates the pay based upon the hourly rate for timesheets, but overtime or full time or weekend time. You can set up the different configurations. It also enables you to display the timesheet entries on the payslip as well, which is a really key thing in terms of reducing administration, in terms of queries, in terms of what people are doing. You also have the ability to change the posting method as well. So you can either create a payroll ledger entry per employee, or if you wanted to group payroll ledger entries based upon a global dimension, such as department, you can do that as well. So again, some companies prefer to group the data depending on the number, how many employees they've got. So all the standard configuration options are all changeable within the system. I go to the pay elements themselves to show you how they're set up. So when you download the setup, it gives you an out of the box all the core ones as well automatically. You can then configure them as well. So you can choose which general ledger accounts each one is going to be mapped to. So that's how it's going to create those payroll ledger entries for you automatically. You can also choose whether or not each element is before tax, before pension, after tax, after student loan, before, and so on and so on. So you can configure it in any which way you want. You can also apply formulas as well. So if you have things which is like pensions a percentage of their base salary or bonuses as a percentage, you can do formulas in the same way as you'd expect any other part of Business Central. And then you can also set up the different timesheet functionality in terms of which timesheet data it maps to which fields, to which pay elements, so then automatically calculates it for you. You can also do splitwise, which is essentially if you've got one person working across multiple sites, you can say actually the timesheet entries will go to site A or site B, or will be split 50% depending on what the preference is. And then obviously you can set up all the different elements, HMRC, timesheets, P11Ds, and so on and so on. I'm just going to go through the process of setting up, going through a payroll process. So I can do my processing, and then I'm going to go into my timesheets. Okay. Timesheets enable you to enter the information in terms of what people are working, what hours and what day in terms of different brackets. Once the timesheet's done, the system will then automatically look at the statutory leave entitlement. So this is which people on maternity or paternity leave, what the percentages of salary they're doing. It will then calculate any pay adjustments, such as somebody gets a one-off bonus or a one-off increment or decrement, and then also recurring adjustments such as a monthly allowance or student loan or whatever the case may be. We're going to go to the payroll batches, which is the core part of the system. And when we go into it, we're going to go and have a look at it and then go through the process. So to start off with, you can see there's 5 key steps along the top. The first one is add employees. So this enables me to remove the current information and then either pull a region or filter or department into system, or allow me to pull all the users into system. So then pulls all the data in based upon the user's payroll elements and the configuration. It will then automatically configure it for you. This is editable, of course, as you would expect. So if I wanted to say, actually, you know what, for this particular person, they deserve a nice bonus of £750, I can literally just type into the grid and it will just do it for me. I can then get the pay elements. So this is going to search for each of the different employees. It will work out all the pay elements. It will work out the timesheet data, work out the base salary information. It will work out the bonus calculations, which we've done, and then it will then enable me to manage that. Once I've done that, I then process my pay elements. So by processing the pay elements, it's now going to calculate all my national insurance contributions, both employee and employer. I'm then going to calculate and release this. So this is going to calculate all my tax and my liabilities to HMRC. So now we can see the tax amounts, and we can see all the taxable income and deductions, etc., etc. And then once I've finished, I can then click post and send. Post and send will basically post it, so it's now pushed into the payroll ledger entries. It becomes a released record, so it's read only. It will then automatically create pay slips for each of those employees and send them securely through Office 365. It will then automatically submit the data from a posting point of view, and will then automatically save the record down for me. So once it's done that, the FPS record for HMRC will then automatically be generated and automatically sent to HMRC, and then the process is done. So one click will do all of those processes for me, as simply as that. So as you can see, this is really simple. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps on a weekly or monthly basis to run your payroll. If I go to my history, I can see the payroll ledger entries and also see the posted payroll batches, and I can see all the historical data about the FPS and the EPS records as well. If I go into a particular batch, I then have the ability to view the information, so I can regenerate the payslip files. If I click on payslips, it will enable me to regenerate a report. So any payslip file from any period can either be run for any person or any group of people, and you can see it's configurable, it's brandable, and it's also flexible. So the number of pay elements can be between up to 1 and 1,000. The number of deductions can be 1 and 1,000. You can also have different combinations. So this is a combination showing of both UK and also US tax within the same employee record. And it also brings through, you can see where people have pay slips or timesheet entries. It'll actually bring across the data from the timesheets and pull it automatically into the system. And so it'll show on pay slips, which is obviously helps in terms of reducing that administration in terms of queries of why am I got paid this, I should have been paid this, blah, 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 blah. You also have the ability to export it to a BACS file and also a pension file. So as part of our support services, we provide pension integration and BACS integration to any bank or any pension provider as part of support. There's no additional cost. In terms of our support profile, we do 24/7 support, which is both telephone and also email support, and that's 20% of the license cost, which is £1 per employee per month. So for 27 support, 365 days a year, it is 20p per person. You also have the ability to roll back transactions. You can do various reporting. So if I want to reverse it or generate a payment plan, I can do that. And I also have the ability to resend the payslips to an individual or group of people. You also have the ability at a line level to see a breakdown as well. So if I wanted to go see the information about a specific person in terms of their timesheets, I have the ability to run timesheet reports on an individual level. I also have the ability to see the makeup of an individual in terms of the elements used in terms of the payroll elements as well. So again, it gives you both full clarity and information. All of the data can be imported into the system to start with, and we provide a service to support that process. Generally takes around about 2 days to onboard new clients in terms of the setup of the system. So it's a nice, simple process as well. Cool. So thank you very much for your time today. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. If not, then hopefully to get to see you soon.
Yeah, I've just posted earlier on whilst you were talking that questions can be posted in the chat. It doesn't look like we've had any, which usually means that you've explained something really well. So
Thank you.
we'll take that as a plus. So if there are any questions, obviously, that come about for anyone that has joined us today, please send them through to either myself or your account manager here at Bamboom Cloud, and we can get Eddie on those if they need to be forwarded across. I just want to say as well, thank you for everyone for attending today, and thank you, Eddie, for coming on to present. It's been insightful for me too, so I really appreciate it. I just want to remind everyone as well that the session is recorded, so will be available on the website after the webinar, and also we'll contact everyone with a follow-up to see how you found the webinar today, if there's interest, and obviously how we got along. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Renee.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.